Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Hey y'all, thanks so much
Hey.
for
Hey.
joining. I am very, very, very appreciative. It's a couple of us on this line, um, and I'm really, really grateful. So before we jump into why we're here, I just want to have everybody introduce themselves, tell what they do or what they were doing before all of this. Who wants to go?
Okay, I'll start. Uh, so I am a. Should I say my name or is that
Yeah, of
self-explanatory?
course. You can just say
Oh,
it. You don't have to say your
okay.
whole name, but you can just say yeah.
My first name, yes. So I'm Andrea, and I'm a pharmacist, a community pharmacist currently right now, but transitioning into clinical pharmacy in the next couple of weeks. But recently, I've just been working actually a lot more than usual, tending to patients, their medication refills. It's been overdrive. So I haven't really been home during this quarantine, but I've definitely been at work and managing my patients' fears and anxieties and just, kind of talking them through the situation. It's uncharted territories, but it's definitely been an experience. So,
Appreciate that.
Amazing.
All
Um,
right.
Hi, my name is Naisha. I am a fashion publicist. I work with designers, but my goal is to get celebrities team up with celebrity stylists to get their clients, celebrities, and influencers to wear um, my clients' stuff.
Hey.
Um, my role has changed. It's crazy. Obviously, in my department, I am only VIP. So the fact that everything is closed, that means celebrities and influencers are not making appearances. Concerts are all closed now. Nothing's happening until next year. So a lot is actually.
Wait,
you
sorry,
muted
that was
yourself.
me. I did
Oh.
that. Sorry. Hello?
Sorry.
Sorry, that was me. That was
Yep.
my fault. Sorry. Press that by accident.
So during these times is kind of hard right now because we get our designer, we get them like good publicity and a lot of traction when a celebrity is wearing their item, when they're featured in whatever magazine online or just street style stuff. And um it's just going back to the drawing board and just trying to figure out, okay, well, how we're gonna like expose our clients, like what are we doing? So it's just hopping on IG
Right.
live and just teaming up with editors, having like one-on-one conversations just for the public and consumers to get more involved with the designer, to know like more of their backstory. I guess this is the time to take it to be more personal.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much what's happening right
Nice. Getty, you want to go next if you think that that's cool. Wait, hold on. Let me. Sorry, I was muting. I'm muting and muting everyone's background, so we didn't catch it. But Getty, if you'd like to share who you are, what you do.
Um, so my name is Getty, and in the daytime, I work in a lending space, like for a private lender. They do real estate investment loans, and um, so it's pretty cool. I've been doing that for like a few months. And for myself, I have a company called Fletch Firm where I do branding, consulting, event planning, and some photography. So it's been pretty good. And I also do music, singing, rapping, and I dance as well. So just doing a little bit of everything.
Love it. I love it. How do you think has COVID like affected like your all your trades in a sense or
Yeah, like as far like work it hasn't affected it. Just like
hmm
it's affected like the clients we have, but like I'm working from home, so that's a blessing. And as far as like Fletch Firm, it's kind of like a struggle because people are like, I guess they're like figuring it out right now, like on their own. So I'm just trying to stay relevant and just finding ways to um
just like what, like when we open back up, like, you know, what events I'm gonna have, like updating my website, like what kind of merch can I come out with, just trying to stay motivated that way. And working on a YouTube channel for my vlog. Like I have a bunch of interviews and stuff. So just
Nice.
working on that. Just to stay in busy, really.
Gotcha. Finding creative ways. Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
David, you ready? How you doing? You can't see him, but he's
Hi.
on here.
Yeah, I'm on. Hi, I'm doing okay. I'm David, obviously.
John doesn't for a
I
job. I'm
work.
going to check in on
Um,
people, all different
What
backgrounds.
Tashawn,
happened?
hold on. Every time you speak, you come up on the screen. So you need to mute yourself.
Ooh. All right.
And then when you're ready to talk, come back on.
All right.
All right, perfect. All right, David, you ready? Sorry about that.
Okay. Yes. So yes, I am David. I work in talent acquisition, aka recruitment, at a financial technology startup that is based in San Francisco, but they also have a smaller office in New York City, which is where I live and work. So yeah, that's what I do.
Nice, nice, nice. Do you think what you do has been affected by COVID in any way?
It has in a more interesting way. My company hasn't really been affected because we do financial technology and lending software,
Right,
which means that because there are so many, well, because the Fed slashed rates, everyone is rushing to refinance their properties, and they can
right.
only do that digitally at this point. So my company's clients are still seeing a lot of volume, and then so consequently, so are we. So business honestly is still doing very well for us. I think my particular function hasn't really been affected either. But what's interesting is that because so many other companies are doing layoffs and so many people are losing their jobs, there's now like a surplus of people who are looking for work. And it's my job to find people to hire to work at my company. So we're just seeing a lot more volume when it comes to people who are applying to jobs. And almost every interview that I've done over the past couple of weeks, the person tells me that they're looking to leave or they are looking for a new job because they just got laid off.
Wow, wow. So yeah, I've definitely been hearing a lot about that. I wonder like how they're, dealing with that transition as well, which we'll jump into. But thank you so much for sharing. Lodi,
Hey, what's going on,
ready?
guys? Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So I'm Kareem. I'm an entrepreneur, and recently I launched my first business, which is Moco, a co-working space, a creative co-working space that is pretty much a shared workspace for creatives and professionals, freelancers, people of that nature to utilize. And since COVID, we have been pretty much shut down, so there's not a lot going on over there. It forces us to, be at home and find ways to stay relevant and stay productive. So we've been pretty much going live on social media, using social media a lot more to connect with our audience and, doing everything virtually. So pretty much that's about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I hope you're hanging in there.
Yep. Thank you.
Hey, Tashawn, you ready?
So hi, I'm Tishan. I'm an entrepreneur, jack of all trades. I do hair, I do DIYs, I do event planning. But lately I've been working on my baby, which is my candle company, Vixay and Co. It's
Hi.
coming soon. So lately I've just been more invested in researching and like being more grounded with myself and putting it into my product and like being I haven't really been affected by COVID. It's actually like if I have, it's more like in a beneficial way, like more being like away from like the real world and like more just like time to reflect and sit and like work on mental health myself. Like if I want to cry, I could cry. If I want to eat
Yes.
ice cream, I could eat it. I could laugh. I could binge watch shows, or I could go for a walk. Not have the pressure of like everyday society, like where you get caught up in the mainstream shit. Oh, can I say shit?
Yes. Be yourself. Be yourself.
You get so caught up like in the mainstream materialistic world, so then like be able to sit back and like reflect or like just focus on like what really matters, like your core and your health and your happiness.
Right,
That's it.
100%. I think you brought up a really, really valid point, which gonna actually Did I get everyone? I think I did. And for those who don't know me, my name is Ray. I am the office manager and social media, everything at the Hub. And I am having this wonderful conversation with a bunch of my actual really, really great friends, best friends, family at this point. And not only do we talk frequently, most of us, but we support one another. So it's very, very important that we kind of check in with one another. And I actually reached out to them to have this conversation in particular because not only do I know them, but we are all in different environments in different areas of our lives. We work in different industries, and we also are all different people and deal with things completely different, all of which I know most of how we deal with things. So I think it was really good to have the diversity. But this whole call, this whole everything was literally to just like have a mental health check-in through all of everything that's going on. So as I have spoke with the community and my colleagues have spoke with the people that they work with, they have seen so many different levels of how COVID has affected, again, different organizations, people personally, especially the behavioral health field and the mental health field. So we have seen like different levels as far as like things that I've mentioned to you guys prior to this call in our separate. One of those being just in general, the whole like worry about COVID. Like when it first came out, no one knew what it was, where it came from. Trump was telling us one thing, social media was telling us another. So just all this frenzy of trying to get it together, right, and understand where it's coming from, what's going on, and how do we prepare for it. And then we got to this another level of like, oh gosh, it's here, right? So what do we do to protect ourselves now, right? So now everyone's finding a mask, looking for a mask. People are upselling Lysol and like just going crazy about like just trying to make a profit off things, and just so everyone's just like, where do we start? And if we are being affected by it, how do we deal with it? People lost a lot of people. I saw a lot of like grandparents, even younger people. So I just saw them being affected in that way. That was another level. And then it reached another phase of, wow, it's here. How is it going to affect us in the sense of our money, right? Are we still all going to be able to work? And I see from, this conversation, this group, we have been fortunate enough to be able to move forward and to find different ways of income, or to keep our jobs, or to find some sort of ways to sustain and maintain the lifestyles that we have, which is very, very, very fortunate. And I would like to freaking congratulate all of you, because that's like probably half of people aren't, like they're probably looking for some sort of resources in a sense of monetary like support. And then after that level, you kind of reached another phase of, okay, now look at the relationships that we have in our lives right now, especially if you're a parent, you're home with your kid all the time now. You're just spending way more time with your husband, your wife, your significant other, if you live with them. And if you don't, you're not seeing the people that you used to see all the time. So how has that been affecting people mentally, just their health in general, and having to deal with new things? And then finally, that phase of, where does this leave me, right? How do I feel? Who's going to be there for me? And how am I going to cope with it on my own? So I kind of just had a couple of questions for all of you in regards to those levels of effect that COVID has had on us. So it's like, anyone can answer this. Don't all speak at once. I'm just joking. But so in any of those levels, like, have you guys been affected at any of those levels, like relationship wise, financially, socially? Like, how was it when this first came out?
I have.
Right?
I have definitely. So again, like I said, I'm in VIP for my job, so we're actually laid off. Some of us are laid off, and then some of us are on what is it?
Furlough, is that what it's
furloughed. And so, I mean, that's pretty much you saying that I'm laid off because I'm doing all of this work and
right?
I'm not even getting nearly as much as what I was getting, not even half. So
Right.
your time is chopped out. But I think for me, especially, I think what this has made me understand, I feel like I already said to myself I didn't want to be a publicist like for the rest of my life. I love my job. I love what I do, especially I get to meet a lot of really great people, be in great spaces, but this time has definitely made me already realize something that I knew before, and that was I really need to work for myself because I mean, I'm not just gonna speak on my behalf, but even everyone in the rest of the world who are facing these crazy times in terms of losing their jobs and stuff. This is the time where it's just like, damn, you really had to depend on someone else to make sure that your bills was being paid on time. And this is where it's just like, okay, well, I know a lot of people are don't know what to do or whatever. Well, this is, as Tashawn said before, this is where it's like finding out what you're creative in. Like,
Right.
this is kind of just that awakening call to say, all right, is this going to make me money? Well, research that. Does this ever get hit by recession or anything? Like, for me, that's what I've pretty much been doing this whole time because my time with my job is not, I'm not working crazy hours. Like, yes, I'm home doing stuff, but at the end of the day, there's not so much that we can do already. So I got more time to now put my own stuff into play and
Right.
just to, be positive about it. Like, I'm not really stressing as much as I should be, but because, I mean, what can you really do about it?
I think that was just really a really good point. Just to just the way that you're attacking it, just being positive. I feel like that is the number one thing that can really make or break you. Right? If you don't find the good some way in all of this, like I know being home, sometimes people feel caged, people feel trapped, but this could be a time really, like Tashawn said, to really like do what you want. Like you could really just enjoy yourself. And I think that that's like the number one good of this. Like you can really kind of focus on your self-care, really find time to read that book that you've been meaning to pick up, find time to really link with your friends, and come up with different ideas on how you guys are gonna get better. So like what we gonna do after this? That's what I'm, just planning for the. And then
Right.
As far as like everyone's mental health, like how do you guys feel?
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Sure enough to say, yeah.
Like, oh,
I'm in a really great mental space. Before all this, when COVID first did start, I was actually like pretty sad, or like I just wasn't feeling the same. Like I wanted to go outside,
right.
like I was stressed. Like I left my job before COVID even happened. Like I just left. Then
Right.
like, okay, when I come back from vacation, I'm gonna find a job. I came back, COVID happened. So therefore, there's no one's hiring. That's happened. I'm just like,
Right.
this is a time to like reset. It's a pause. So maybe I don't need to find that next job. Maybe I just really need to like put my entire self into what I'm doing
Right.
and be happy with it. And it's gonna just trust the process.
Do you guys know people who are like struggling right now? Like especially for people who are struggling with substance misuse, or dealing with like their mental health in general. I know Drea, you're at the pharmacy, so you're seeing a lot of different people with a range of different.
Yeah. And then it's interesting because in the pharmacy, a lot of times there's a lot of older individuals that you see present with like fears and anxiety, but it's a lot of my younger customers that I noticed, ending up having issues, and it's actually something that a lot of people are facing, because people aren't sure about where the next meal is going to come from. People aren't sure how they're going to pay their rent. So I've seen a lot of concern and a lot of issues with mental health. And I found myself actually acting more of a therapist in terms of this situation than a pharmacist. And you'd be surprised how many people have just come to just talk, because they're concerned and they're afraid. And where I get my support from, I get it from God. So I have, held on to my God really, really tight in this time. And, with work, you're really not supposed to bring your faith into things, but I've used that as a tool because it's allowed people to feel a lot more calm and peace than usual, because nobody knows what tomorrow's going to bring, and we're all in the same situation. Race, ethnicity, job status. None of us are not being, affected by COVID-19.
Right.
But I've definitely seen a lot of my patients battling with mental health and just feeling depressed and anxious. But one thing I do let them know is that, like, if you have anybody that you can reach out to or talk to, call them, talk to them, because I think in this situation you can really get in your own head. Isolation is a tactic that they actually use to make people go crazy. So I've just recommended to them, like, call your mom, call your dad, call a friend, call anybody. If you weren't on social media before, social media has turned into a medicinal platform, if you ask me, to engage with others.
Absolutely.
So just encouraging that, reaching out and talking to each other, and then using me. If they want to talk to me, I'm here to talk,
I feel like a lot of community, people who serve the community are kind of stepping up in that regard, and being there and showing out. Like, not only are you guys on the front line of everything, you guys are taking it to the next level by providing yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have that extra conversation, but I think that is therapeutic in its own right. Treating everyone like they're worth something. You know what I mean? And I think that this situation can either make things go really bad as far as everyone feeling so disconnected. And when we finally do get together, no one's not going to have any social skills, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Or it could be a way where this builds everything because everyone misses the opportunity to embrace people. So this could kind of go either way, but I definitely feel you with the whole like social media presence, and to just use that as a way. There's so many different supports online. And before I jump into that, I wanted to ask, like, have you guys seen an increase in like drinking or substance use among like your friends, family, what you're seeing on social media?
I've definitely seen an increase in smoking weed.
Yes.
One of our clients that we actually work with, he's the owner of Viola, and his business went skyrocket. I mean, I'm in Cali anyway, so a lot of people go to dispensaries and like get weed and stuff, but I'm definitely seeing a big increase on that. As far as drinking and stuff, I don't know. I mean, I feel like even going to the grocery store, everything else is sold out except for alcohol beverages.
Yeah, because it's like there you got the option to indulge in something a little more,
right?
David, how about you? Have you seen like an increase amongst your friends or on social media or anything in like substance use?
Yeah, I've definitely seen an increase. I think it's important to note that, again, I'm in New York City, so it definitely seems a lot bleaker here. I think the energy is generally more depressing.
Yes.
So I definitely notice my friends who are drinking a lot more often, like whenever I talk to them on FaceTime or something, they're going to a liquor store or they have a drink. I actually spoke to one of my friends who was doing coke, which in New York isn't necessarily a big deal, but to be doing it sitting around your apartment I was kind of like, what's going on? He's like, I think I really need to like really watch what I'm doing. But I think, again, people are just very depressed here, and they feel like they're in a very hopeless state, so they just kind of sit around trying to, I think, make themselves feel better. But obviously that's not scalable, and it's not healthy in the long run.
Right. And I think you made like a really, really good point with just New York, just the scenery. I think your environment has a lot to do with your mental health and just how you're going to develop as a person, how you're going to react and things like that. I know here in Connecticut, we have Connecticut in the building, California, Massachusetts, New York. So we kind of get to hear and see, what's going on. And I do have to ask too, is everybody still like on lockdown for the most part, or?
Yes.
I am for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, that
I haven't left my house at all. I haven't left my apartment at all in like over a month at this point. I've only gone out past my
Not even to get food?
No, I've been getting my groceries delivered. I haven't been
Oh my
working for my
God.
my laundry gets taken, picked up, and brought back. So I really haven't left because things are so bleak here, and they keep saying like, don't go outside unless you have somewhere really pressing to be. And
Right.
obviously, you can go and get a walk. You can go have
Of
a walk,
course,
but
Yeah.
I wasn't the type to go for a walk before, so I'm just kind of stuck in my
Right.
apartment.
So
Oh my gosh.
I know I was just about so like
No.
and speaking about that, like how are you maintaining like your level of like a good level of mental health? Like how are you sustaining yourself? Like I can't imagine have not going outside. Like I need a little sunlight, you know, I need a little sun.
Yeah, look a
Do
breeze.
you have a
Right.
balcony at least you could go on?
I have a fire escape, and I have like
Okay,
really
so you
big
can
Oh,
go
that's
windows,
outside.
good,
so I
right.
can like
Yeah.
yeah, so I can open it and feel like I'm closer to being outside. I mean, people keep asking like, "How are you okay with not going outside?" I think I must have been crazy to begin with, but
Right.
I just think I just think that's
Yeah.
the alternative. Like, I don't feel like it'll have been worth it if I decide that I want to go for a walk or I want to go to the grocery store physically or something, and then I end up getting sick.
Not
Especially
worth it.
because obviously as a Black person, it's like we're suffering from this at higher rates. There
Right.
are more risks that make it more difficult for us. We're also more likely to receive less care when it comes to just being in the healthcare system in general, or lower level of care. So I don't want to subject myself, because I feel like no matter how much you accomplish or no matter how much money you make or whatever, at the end of the day, when you walk into that hospital where you're wheeled into it, you just become a Black person. So I just don't want to take any unnecessary risk with my health.
Right. And then bringing up that we have certainly all seen a huge disparity in the amount of support, resources, access to healthcare in general. Just like a huge disparity in race, gender, social status, and all of that. So I know, especially in New York, how how different that can be. So are you guys seeing that as well? Do you feel like your access has been a little bit different if you did like have to go get support or?
I mean,
Like we know it's there, we know it's happening, but it's like I don't know. I personally haven't dealt with it yet, but I do know like in our community there is a huge issue with just like talking about us needing help, needing support.
yeah.
Like people this is the thing that I really can't get. And I know it's not just, our race or whatever, or people middle class and things like that, because a lot of this stuff was happening in Westport too. But I've been seeing like if people are still gathering, people are
Yeah.
still exposing themselves to
Yeah.
virus potentially, and then not even going to get tested and just living on with their life, not even caring, and then later exposing, Tom, Dick, and Harry to it, and they didn't, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I think it's just more of us need to start understanding our responsibility and start to have the decency to care about the next person.
No, I agree, and I think it stems a lot from education too. I mean, if you look in history, especially the African American communities, when it comes to healthcare, we have always been the trials. We have always been the monkeys basically, and what you try things on, and the fear of healthcare, the fear of the hospitals, it's real. And a lot of times you're not gonna go to the doctors when you already have a concern that the doctors aren't for you, the doctors are against you. And then if you look at certain demographics in the neighborhoods that they're in, they don't have the hospitals that have all those ventilators, So when you do go to the hospital, you're not even getting the
proper care,
the treatment, the proper care.
And then that segues right into the next thing. Kareem, I know that you had your run-in with COVID, and when you went to go get tested, it was literally not a real test, right? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so when they pretty much diagnosed
You broke up.
can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so when I got diagnosed with COVID, I never took an actual test. Like, they never actually gave me a test. What they did was perform the CAT scan and an X-ray, And because I had because my X-ray and my CAT scan came back with pretty much abnormal results within my chest cavity, they pretty much based that as the as the reason for diagnosing me with with COVID. So even when like they told me about it, I honestly, after hearing about how people got tested, when they had to put the tube up your nose and things like that, I was waiting for that to happen. So I kind of
Right.
asked them if they were gonna, give me a proper test, and then their response was, they pretty much don't have any to spare. Like they didn't have any tests to pretty much give out. So what they told me to do was self-isolate for 14 days, and then once I was out of quarantine, to basically call a hotline to schedule an actual test. But to me, that kind of doesn't make any sense
Right.
because say I do, if you're not even sure that I have it or not, you're telling me to self-isolate. So on one hand, if I do have it and like, my condition gets worse, I have no way of really combating it because, what I'm saying, you guys didn't really leave me with any other, you know, anything to do besides stay home and stay by myself and
Right.
stay isolated. And on the next hand, it's like you're telling me that I do have it. You're giving me the notion that I have it because you already told me I have it, but it's not official. But you said I have it. I have to self quarantine. So now I'm afraid. I have these feelings of like I've been around family. I've been around my god kids.
Right.
It's a possibility that they might have it now. So now you're putting people in a state of panic without actually knowing if they have it or not.
Right.
So it's kind of
Right.
confusing.
I totally understand that it's like precautionary and then like them trying, and then it is also an issue of lack of resources. Most importantly, I think that was handled wrong though. 100%. I think that could have just.
Okay.
I don't know. There's just so many different ways that could have gone, and I think that's just very representative of our
I
health
mean,
practices here and the
we
access that we have to them.
work
That's a
with
perfect example.
so I don't think there's like too much people to blame that's working in the facilities, like the
No,
nurses.
absolutely not. Right.
They're just, they're just in the position of helping,
Right.
and it's a, it's a way that everything's being like information's being trickled down. So they're just saying what they've been told. So I think like we gotta look at the root of this and see how we can prevent it from happening again if we are in the same, predicament.
100%. And I think it starts with conversations like so that they end up getting, transcended to the next level. And, having people who do work in healthcare spread the word, just like we've been seeing on social media, like so much. I've been seeing so many people do that. Um, but yeah, so I hope that all of you are feeling a little bit more at ease. And I thank you all for having this conversation and sharing and being open about your experience. So, with that said, I hope all of you are doing something to practice, promote, and engage in self-care at some one way or another. So, before we hang up, I do want to say, what is something that you're going to do to practice good mental health, or you know what I mean, or good self-care?
Well, let me start.
Perfect.
So, I also have not, I mean, I've been outside of my house.
Right.
Because, I don't have the luxury to have people send me things. But I have not actually had, though, like, physical interaction with, like, friends or family. So I've really been kind of really cooped up in my house for a good almost 2 months now. Because we, in LA, we started on being quarantined, I think, first from everyone.
Yeah.
And then, technically speaking, I was already homebound because I had, like, a minor neck surgery. So I was, like, already stuck here.
Right.
For me, I've pretty much have I never really was in my apartment before because my job consists me being out and about so many times, like especially during events and all that stuff. So I was really never in my apartment. So what I've been doing now to kind of just make me feel at ease, I'm making my apartment very cozy.
Yeah.
So I've pretty much just been I think I definitely play a role in making Amazon become this little trillion stuff that they have, because I've been ordering so much shit and just redecorating my apartments. If I'm gonna spend all this time here, I need to make it feel very like homey.
I think
And
that's great. That's so great.
I made a video actually, so everybody go check it out. That was my way of really talking to myself, because again, I don't have no one here. So it was just like, just to laugh and just be okay to, it sounded better like out loud talking to nobody, but it seemed like I was really talking to someone. So I actually did a hair tutorial, because I knew a lot of people who do have short haircuts,
right,
who don't know how to maintain it around this time.
Right.
So I kind of did a like how to maintain your hair. And I've just been doing like little stuff like that to trying to just keep me self-motivated, self-care, hair, keeping my apartment like up par.
What about
what
about your newfound love for plants? I've been seeing that you.
Oh yes. Okay, so I became a plant mom. So basically, okay, in LA, apartments, sometimes, like majority apartments, we don't get so much sunlight.
Right.
So I've pretty much just been Googling like what plants will serve me justice. Like they're not gonna die on me because there's not so much light,
Right.
or what benefits they bring in. So my plants that I have, they actually clear out the toxins in the air. So it's really good. So if you guys are interested, ZZ plants are a thing, and pothos plants. And I pretty much just, if I'm gonna spend all this time in here, my air quality has to be great, and
right.
Just to bring out that good skin. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely bringing plants into this apartment a lot. So it's my love for it.
Right. Everybody else, what is something that you can do, gonna do, plan on doing, or already doing, to engage in self-care?
Well, I am going to be doing meditation. Well, I got into it, but it's kind of hard. But
Is that a drink?
like balance. Oh yeah,
Right.
so how can you keep on with
Life is
you? meditation, and yoga. Especially because we have the kids here too, so we want to get them more active.
Nice.
I have been like building, like Crystal like does the teaching part, and I'm like a substitute teacher, so like I'm like the fun one.
Right. That's a whole.
But like I like little obstacle courses, like inside the house. Like their kids, they want to run around. They miss their friends. Like they like talking like on the app. Like they really miss their friends. They miss being in school. They miss recess. Like arts and crafts. Like trying to incorporate that into like our household too. Even like because like the gym they send home from do is like 12 jumping jacks, 5 push-ups, go to every corner. So like they're not fun. Like I don't want to do this. And with us when we were kids, gym class was hella fun. Like I used to love gym.
Socialize.
Yeah, socialize and stuff. Like I do like little jumps and stuff, and like we have little concerts and me and Sage dance. Like get the body moving flow.
Right.
Yeah, but meditation, and I'm also the plants. I'm becoming a plant mom, so I've been looking for plants because that's good. And I'm building an altar in my room, like more meditate and stay grounded, get connected with my ancestors and stuff.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Girl, you better.
Yes. David, how about you?
And praying.
Hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, for self-care, I think what I'm trying to do, since I work from home, so I'm still working every day, all day from my house. So what I'm trying to do is just take time to step back and like go watch a TV show, or like go cook, or just do something that's non-work related that I enjoy, so that I don't end up feeling like I just live to get up and go to work and then go to sleep.
Nice. Yeah, as long as you add something in there that you like to do, I think that is step one, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, I want to maintain some sense of normalcy in my life, even though this is such an abnormal situation.
Right. Keeping. I like that. Eddie, how about you?
Getty?
Yeah. How about you?
I've been like trying to work out. I actually did a detox. It was over like
Oh,
last
dude,
week.
that's
It was alright, but the best detox is just cutting carbs, like meat and veggies. So I'm just trying to, like, keep health first and foremost. I still dance, like my dance group, like we go outside, we practice social distancing, but
Nice.
it's therapeutic. Like, everybody loves music, everybody likes to dance. And it's just a missing part. Like, I'm off if I don't dance for a while with my group.
Right.
So that's that. Oh, and I've been on TikTok.
I
Yes.
see you, girl.
I
I see you, girl.
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
seen
thanks.
you. That new phenomenon.
Yo, because we wasn't really dancing prior. So I'm like, I need to get my fix,
Right.
And
That's right.
just overall, just staying healthy and just doing the things that I enjoy, like, working on my business, just staying motivated, like, and getting more rest,
Yes.
because
Very,
I
very, very,
wasn't really
very
sleeping
key.
like that.
That is key. I've been
Yeah.
the opposite. I have not been. I literally broke night twice already this week, and I don't know why. But I've been working on other things and different exciting projects,
Yeah.
which you guys know.
And praying,
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that.
keeping the faith.
That's right. Andrea, how about you? How are you going to
me.
be practicing some
So,
self-care?
well, that's a really good question, because in the beginning of COVID, I was like, go, 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 work, 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 picking up shifts, because a couple pharmacists, if you weren't feeling good at all, they just recommended you stay home. So it was really tough in the beginning to manage self-care and manage being in the pharmacy.
Right.
But I started to pray a lot more, take the time, especially in the beginning, in the morning, right when I get up, like to do my devotional, talking to God, and then at night talking to God. So that's like really my self-care. And then also like focusing, like Eddie said, on like my personal endeavors, like my sister's in medicine, with my sisters, doing more to promote health literacy into the community, coming together more to, because like we just discussed, there is a disparity, and we're trying to help close that gap a little bit more. So focusing on ways we can reach the public and educate them about the health, especially now. If you really look at this is a situation where it's like, if anyone didn't know before or want to learn more about health awareness, it's now, because we're our own advocate. We can't look for anybody to help us or to heal us. We have to kind of have that intellect and that knowledge ourselves. So just promoting that more. That's my self-care, because I enjoy it. So praying, loving on myself, doing daily devotions, and just making sure to take the time to give myself some glory too. So,
That's great.
yeah.
I know that's right. And if
Drea, can I ask you something?
Okay. Yeah.
How do you feel about home remedies? Like being in pharmacy?
I am all for home remedies. And it's
That's a
interesting
great
that you
question.
asked that. It's a phenomenal question, because I think, a lot of times people look at me, especially being a pharmacist, like, especially my patients, they're like, because in the beginning there was a lot of, scripts for alprazolam, lorazepam, if you guys know what those medications are, they're anti-anxiety medicines. And instead of like promoting the early refills of these medications that can cause you to have respiratory depression and die practically, I'm like, have you tried, you know what I mean, just like breathing in and out a little bit more? Have you tried like changing your sleep pattern, doing things outside of taking medication, because there's non-medication ways to treat every single thing. And if you treat your medicine, if you treat your food like, if you don't treat your food like your medicine, medicine will become your food. I'm a huge fan of that.
Oh, you better.
Love that. Can we get a snap on that one? That
You
was
just
great.
look
Yes, that was
look into
wonderful.
it.
I love
But
that.
there's healing in food. There's so much healing in food, and vitamins,
It's
multi-supplements,
true.
lemon, ginger, turmeric. Like,
I
let
drink
me
that
know.
junk
I can
every
go
morning.
down the line. Like,
Lemon, turmeric, ginger
it's
tea every
important.
morning.
And if you get your immune system
Sea
the way you
moss.
do, you won't need to be on synthetic medications later on.
Right.
So that's something that they don't want you to know, but you need to know it now. Okay?
That's right.
But,
Andrea, if you are interested, I would love to come up with some sort of partnership with the Hub and Sisters in Medicine, and maybe you guys could help us put together some nice videos
Yeah.
or something.
we would be honored, and we would love the opportunity, and
Yeah.
like that would be great. That's something
I always
let's do it.
mention that I have sisters in medicine actually who
I love you.
who practice in the community, and I'm always talking about your experiences, and I always bring that element to the table, because a lot of people don't think about pharmacists when we talk about the
It's
mental
true.
health world, and
It's
how
true.
you
It's
guys
true.
are literally on the front line with all of this and all the time. So
True. It is.
yeah, can't cut
It's
you guys
true.
any slack. Hey Goldie, how about you?
Yeah, so y'all pretty much touched on everything I've been doing. I've been
Oh.
doing a little bit of everything. So working out, eating good. I've been making smoothies. Since COVID, I stopped eating seafood, so now it's all plant-based, pretty much veggies, fruits, the carbs, the beans and stuff like that. And meditation, like Tashawn said, getting a balance of all that keeps your head clear, keeps you, feeling good. Um, Other than that, I recently started, posting with a purpose on social media. So I got my whole little campaign going where I'm trying to like pretty much give out information, positive information on growth, becoming successful, just giving my input on how I feel people can, just grow, whether it's your brand or your revenue streams, different businesses that you can start from being home. And since I started that, I've been connecting with a lot of people on social media, and it kind of feels good to, give out information that people find useful. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's been my health and wellness path that I've been taking.
Nice. Well, you all know whether I want to do it or not, I'm like indebted to making sure that all you guys are good and that you all are practicing good freaking skills and habits and building, everything around you. So again, I am very, 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 very thankful. And as far as myself, I've been practicing a lot of self-care in the kitchen. Again, just really treating my body a little bit differently and trying new recipes. I've been like cooking, and y'all all know I don't really like to cook, but I've been getting real creative and just mixing things up and really just like replacing the traditional things that we always grew up, like the sugars, the fatty food, and just replacing that with like a lot of healthy options. And I can tell you, I feel a lot better, thinking more clearer, and again, just focusing more on creating positive energy. And with that said, I too am working on creating content for people to take in and working on my lifestyle brand and helping people to indulge in a little more self-love and understanding their worth. So that's my goal. So with that said, thank you all for joining today. I
Thank you. This is
can't wait
great.
to have more conversations, and I will actually put this all together and I'll make sure that you guys get this.
Let's go check it
Yeah.
out. Thanks, Ray.
Amazing.
See you
We
later.
appreciate you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, guys.